I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I like to teach the world to sing, sing with me in perfect harmony. I like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real. I like to teach the world to sing, sing with me in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today, it's the real thing. What the world wants today, it's the real thing. Are you familiar with that jingle? If you weren't familiar with that jingle, you're probably now familiar with that jingle. I'm aware of that commercial because I've seen it multiple times here on YouTube, but Sunday night was the final episode of Mad Men, and I seen episodes every now and then when it was on during the season, during repeats, and it was a very good show. And I wasn't a devoted fan because I liked other shows at the time. But if you did not watch Mad Men, you knew what the episodes were about because you seen all the fans talking about, so you kind of were caught up by the fans of the show. But Sunday's episode, the series finale, was actually how it should have ended. Some people expected the D.B. Cooper ending. Some people expected Don Draper to commit suicide. Some people expected exactly what happened. Don Draper discovering this is who he really is now, and that he created the Coke commercial. And I should have mentioned spoilers, and if you haven't seen the final episode, well, I'm sorry I ruined it for you, but I just wanted to bring that up because it was a fitting ending, and it ended better than The Sopranos. The creator of Mad Men is also the creator of The Sopranos, and if you are my age and you never watched The Sopranos growing up because of the material about what the show was about, if you never watched it, you've seen the final episode because there was nothing wrong with it. But, I mean, even as a kid, when I seen the final episode of The Sopranos, I'm thinking, how the hell can you end a TV show like that, just going dark and leaving the fans hanging? And when the creator of the Mad Men said, I don't know anybody anything, which is total bullshit, because you do. When you create a television show, and I'm not an expert at creating television shows, but if you create a television show that surpasses Dallas internationally, and is the most popular show here in America and around the world, you do owe the fans a perfect ending, or at least a close to good perfect ending, because you can't just leave the fans hanging like you did with The Sopranos. But I just wanted to I wanted to mention that. And today is primary election day. As you can see, I voted literally not that long ago, and my friend Catherine Mon is the only female Democrat on the ballot for clerk of courts for Schuylkill County, so she's definitely going to get it. I have no doubt in my mind she's definitely going to get that position, because there's no write-ins at all. So, normally on the show I talk about politics, religion, and all that, and I'm normally bashing the fundamentalists, and I'm normally going after Republicans and or Democrats if they're doing stupid crap. But there's a story that happened not yesterday, a couple of weeks ago, but in Prattsville, Alabama, their version of Fox News, everywhere has their own version of Fox News. but I'm not talking about the Bill O'Reilly Fox News. I'm talking about the local Fox 5 type of show, and you probably know what I'm talking about because you probably have your own versions where you live. And there was something that was very touching of this young boy and his mother, and I really can't explain. You have to see it for yourself.
Well, we have what we think is a fairly extraordinary story tonight. It's a story about a little boy who wasn't ashamed to publicly help a homeless man. The little boy's mom says she will never, ever forget what she witnessed. WSFA 12 News reporter Brian Henry has that in our Making a Difference report tonight.
The faith of the little boy was on full display at the Waffle House at the Prattville Millbrook exit one night a few weeks ago. It's the story of 5-year-old Josiah Duncan and his mom, Ava Falk.
There was a man standing inside that was real dirty and had his back.
Josiah was so troubled by the man's appearance, he peppered his mom with questions and more questions.
Oh, and I said, well, because he's homeless. And Josiah said, well, what does that mean? And I said, that means he does not have a house.
And apparently not a friend to lean on.
He doesn't have no food.
Josiah felt the urge to do something. He insisted on his mom buying the stranger a good meal. She obliged.
And somebody came in and sat down, and nobody really waited on him. He was kind of sat there. And Josiah jumped up and asked him if he needed a menu because he couldn't order without one.
Instead of ordering a cheap hamburger, the homeless man got the works.
He said, well, can I have bacon? I said, you can have as much bacon on your hamburger as you want.
But before the man could take the first bite, Josiah insisted on something else.
I wanted to say the blessing with him.
And Josiah did, publicly, with 11 other customers watching. Josiah sang it as loud as his little voice could muster.
Thank you for our blessing. Thank you for blessing. And that man just cried, and everybody else in Waffle House was crying.
The man ate his meal and went on his way. He left with a full stomach, while Ava left with a full heart.
I wasn't judging him both.
Topped off with what she considers a touch of divine wisdom.
That you never know who is an angel on earth, and then when the opportunity comes at you, you never should walk away from it.
A little boy saw a need
Man.
and met it face to face.
Man.
In Prattville, Brian Henry, WSFA 12 News.
Ava Falk says that since that encounter, she has only seen the man once, and that was 3 days ago. He was on his bike underneath the interstate bridge there at the Prattville Millbrook exit. If you would like to let Brian know about other folks who are making a difference in their communities, you can reach out to him by emailing him at bhenry@wsfa.com.
That story is so...
Well, here we are.
so unbelievably amazing that if you have a religion or not, like me, I have no faith in any higher deity or any superstition at all. But if that story does not touch your heart of a 5-year-old kid's act of humanitarian, I really can explain further that this kid's a real humanitarian. At 5 years old, he wanted to he wanted to feed someone who had nothing. Who has nothing whatsoever, and has literally, by the story, no friend to lean on. And this kid has a heart as big as outdoors and wants to feed the man. It's something like that that you don't see printed in the news anywhere, in public news anywhere, or on social media, because it's always doom and gloom, disasters, riots, political debates, and so forth. But it's that act of humanitarianism that is undeniably amazing And that's pretty much all I could say about, is that this kid has a heart as big as outdoors, and his mother raised him right. His mother is raising him right. When you see someone in need, when they're in times of distress, when there's a homeless person begging for change, instead of these fake Christians, and I'm talking about these people who go to church and they say, oh, Father said this, Pastor said that, but then when they see a homeless person, they treat them as they're a dirty piece of garbage, and they just kick them out of the way. This mother is telling her son different. This mother is telling her son, literally live the words of Jesus. Treat everybody as nice as you would treat yourself. And this kid really does follow the words of Jesus I've heard when I was growing up. This is the James DiPrima show, Wall of Heroes. What's that kid's name again? Hold on. Josiah. That's his name. This 5-year-old kid, Josiah, is officially the first of the James DiPrima show Wall of Heroes. Because it's people like him, and it's people like any generous person of religions or no religions who do something like this, which is a very rare thing to even hear about in the news, like I already said. He is one of my heroes. He really is. Josiah, you are an amazing kid, and Mom should not only be proud of you, but she should be proud of herself for raising up such a fine young man. So with that being said, this was the show today, and see you Thursday.